Everyone, John with ITAP here again, and another beer recommendation. And to keep with our trend, we're going to stay on the import side of our cooler. And today we're talking about beer that is one of the more important beers I would say ever made, seeing as how like 90% of all beer produced in the world is kind of based on this style. And it's still one of my favorites, still one of the best session beers out there. Beer that's always good, beer that's always sold well for us at all the ITAPs since we've opened, and that is a wonderful Pilsner Urquell out of the Czech Republic. A lot of people hear the word Pilsner, they think Germany, because, that's where probably a lot of the Pilsners they drink come from. And, I think that's kind of the origin of it. Well, the first ever Pilsner made was in the town of Pilsen in the Czech Republic. But the beer was made in Pilsen, which is why it's called Pilsner, from Pilsen. But it was made by a German brewer, basically like in 1842 or something. People in the Czech Republic were sick of drinking these, darker top fermented ales, and saw some of these bottom fermented beers, lagers, becoming popular in Germany. And so they dumped a bunch of beer out in protest in the city square, and they went and hired a Bavarian to come into the Czech Republic to make this specific beer. And the rest is history. Like I said, it's the most common style of beer made on the planet, and it's not even really close. Pour this guy here my wonderful Pilsner Urquell mug. Still a wonderful beer. You notice the pale color here, and which is a little bit different because there were lagers being consumed back then, but for a while people don't realize that darker lagers, even in Germany, were more popular, and so this kind of broke the mold as well. And also, what's kind of unique to this beer as well is they had a much softer water profile in the Czech Republic, so it has this very wonderful, soft sort of mouthfeel to it. Still finishes nice and dry. The hops give it a really nice dry kick, dry bite at the end, I should say. This is made with what you call Saaz hops. Saaz hops is traditionally a Czech-grown hop, but it is part of what you call the noble hop family. Noble hops being beers or hops that you would find in a lot of your German beers and a lot of your Czech beers, and Saaz is one of those. Other ones are stuff like, Hallertau is another one that you probably have heard of or seen in a lot of other German beers. But this beer it's a wonderful sort of not quite amber color, a little more than golden, I would say, between like an amber and an orange. Has a nice fluffy head on it that usually sticks around for a long time. It's a nice sort of soft, well-rounded, almost sort of juicier malt profile. It's got a nice bit of mouthfeel to it. But the hops come in at the very, very end. It's not necessarily really, there's a little bit of lingering bitterness, but not too much lingering bitterness. It's a nice little bite. It's very floral. It's a bit green, I would say, and it's definitely on the spicy end of things. Nothing like the pine and the citrus, any of those fruits you normally would get out of, say your American hops, like in an American IPA. But also, fun fact before we go here is, so in the Czech, so we use the term Czech Pilsner to talk about a lot, beers like this. But in the Czech Republic, the only beer that is called Pilsner is Pilsner Urquell. That's kind of sort of done a little bit out of respect because it was the original. And the rest are just essentially their take on the word Czech pale lagers, or some sort like that, or some variation of that word. But yeah, if you go to the Czech Republic and order a Pilsner, you're going to get a Pilsner Urquell. So cheers, Prost. I think Nastroví is the Czech word for cheers. Yeah, it's close like that. Somebody can correct me. Cheers, goodbye.